Show away the Irish. Show away the Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Things are bad, you guys. Things are really bad. It's what you couldn't, it's what this couldn't be. That's what this has turned into is the one thing it couldn't be. This is rough. This is rough. And it ain't getting any easier. With what you have coming this week. It's almost hard to wrap my mind around all the negative. There's so much negativity. You need to break it up. And I'm not saying it's not justified, but there's so much negativity right now. I got to break it up into categories. And that's the way it should be. That I'm not saying that's not right. There's literally just so much negativity in every different area. I got to compartmentalize it and look at what's big picture problems, immediate problems, what could be fixed this week, what's bigger It's really bad. And I'm not going to tell anybody any of it's not fair. Wherever you're at, you need to go. I've seen some common themes we're going to need to go over. Wherever you need to go, go. But it's bad. I always tell you guys the truth the way I see it. Like, this is really a dark place and a dark time. On the field, off the field, big picture, small picture. This is the worst case scenario. And it's going to be a really, really long week. It's going to be a long week for all of us, everybody involved with Notre Dame. It's bad. There's nothing I can say. It's bad. There's nothing I can say. It's that bad. All of your complaints are legitimate. All of your concerns are legitimate. Like, there's no massaging this. You thought it was as bad as it could be after Ohio State? Look at it now. 2 losses, but 2 totally different tones. One was you hung right with an elite team and couldn't get over the hump, and I'm mad about it. Now it's nobody even knows what they're doing at all. It's really awful. Let's get into this. There's a bunch of calls. And I realized Saturday night I couldn't get to everybody. People have thoughts. Bring it wherever you want to bring it. But all of your concerns are legitimate. There are big time problems. I don't know what else to say. We got to work our way through it. And it is what a death march to USC. That's the other thing. You know me. I'm the vibe guy. I'm the guy always talking about the vibes. I can't imagine worse vibes heading into USC than this. I mean, anything's better than another road game at this point where we're at, how this has gone. But I'm just telling you, bro, that this is just, it's a bad dynamic. So let's get through the introduction, a couple of my points. Couple of the chatters have hit exactly what I've been saying, and then I'll give it to the callers. These are rough times, you guys. Like, we're in it now. Strap on your helmet. Like, we're in it. This is some deep shit. This is some really unfortunate, deep stuff. And it's all warranted. It's all justified. That's why it couldn't happen. That's why it couldn't be. And it is. So we're in the deep stuff now, you guys. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on it where you're alerted every time John posts his latest misery on tape. Be the first one to see it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Oh, I got to tell you, congratulations to the Louisville people. Congratulations to the LSU people. They are hammering me 24/7 nonstop since the game. They're doing what they should do to me. They're doing what they should do to me. I can't even complain about it. I am getting roasted like a marshmallow over the campfire. And there ain't a damn thing I could say about it after what we did. I just got to take it. There's no comeback I have in the world. So I'm getting killed, and there's not a damn thing I could do about it. That's the way this goes, people. When your team performs that way, there is no comeback. You got to sit there and take it over and over and over again. Instagram, Facebook, all that. Always Irish Inc. Call-in lines, you know what they are. I'm going to give you guys time today to air it out, talk it out. 312-900-8815. Dial it up. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. Okay, read all about it. So one thing here I want to say before I get into this with the super chats and then your calls is thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. You know, these shows are a lot more fun when your team's a front runner and everything's going well and you have momentum and it's fun and you control other people and all that. I appreciate you being here when the times are tough. It isn't as fun, but it may be more important for us all to be together and do all this together with people that, you know, feel your pain and you don't have to explain it to them. They just get it the way you do. And that's kind of where we're at. And the other thing is with the call-in shows after the game, two things on that. Number one is highest numbers we've ever had. We were just a tick under 1,000 concurrent viewers after the game. For me and my channel, that's big progress. It's just depressing to me that it only happens when we lose. You know, the Ohio State one was off the charts for bad reasons. So was this one. So that's really hurtful. But it's the way this goes. So I'm appreciative for everybody that tuned in. Also, I want to say this for our group, the people that are here for the right reasons because they love Notre Dame. I'm going to say this. That show was a lot more under control from the callers and me than the Ohio State one. And I really appreciate that from you guys. I want to keep the show advertiser friendly for business purposes as much as I can. And I asked you guys to kind of be careful about some of that. And I think you did a really good job. And I just want to say, I appreciate the respect you guys showed me, even though we were all upset that I asked if we could try and keep it together a little bit. And we did. Me and you guys did a way better job for this situation than Ohio State. And I want to bring it up and thank you guys. I really feel like you did a better job, and so did I, at keeping that all together. So thank you very much. Okay, let's do a couple super chats. I'm going to do a couple of my notes, and then I'll just give it to you guys. Oh, man, these are rough times. $5 holler from Pat. Let Freeman cook. The menu items appear appetizing, but the appetizers are overpriced. The main entrees are undercooked, lacking in flavor, and no dessert options. Really good job on the creativity, even though it hurts my feelings. Eric with the $20 holler. I can't get behind Marcus anymore. Freeman's incompetent with in-game decisions and hiring assistants. ND will not be great again until we have a new head coach or Freeman gets 3 more years of coaching experience. Here's the thing, man. I don't think Freeman's going anywhere no matter what happens the rest of this year, which is very much in doubt, depending on this USC game. If Freeman doesn't go anywhere, and I don't think he is, he's got to revamp the staff. And that's got to be like A1 priority. Got to surround himself with experience in some of these areas to help cover for some of his inexperience in these areas. That's got to be on the table because Freeman's not going anywhere no matter what happens, I don't think. And so then if that's our dynamic, this is what I mean when there's layers to the garbage. There isn't just one layer of bad. There's layers on layers of bad you got to wade through here. I don't think Freeman's going anywhere no matter what. So then he's got to quit the friend crap with this staff, and we're all buddies, and surround himself with experienced high-level guys to build him a bridge till he gets the experience. That's the only other way this could go. $5 dollar from the V1 rotate. The issues is not with the O-line. They're doing the best they can. It's the wide receivers. I'm telling you, let's talk about it. 786 in the mix. I got you, 786. You're a regular donator. I'm going to get you on. Rodney, I owe you two from Saturday, so I'll make sure I pop you up quick. Steven with the $2 dollar. It hurts, but we move on to FUSC. Unbelievable. Notre Dame's a favorite in that game. I think they're a 2-point favorite. My word. $5 dollar from Mike. I got you coming up too, Mikey. I've never been more wrong about a game and a team than I was this time. Just wow. Yep. $2 dollar from the Chief. They're beating USC because that's ND under Freeman. Yeah, wouldn't that be the way it goes? Wouldn't that be the way it goes? I could see it, but they would have to improve in a lot of areas, get way more efficient. Way more efficient. Yeah, Texas Mac, silver lining. Ohio State can't use this as a good win. Sad for us all. Yeah, we'll show them. We're going to take our own ship down just so it helps bring theirs down. Unbelievable. I hate my life. Oh, we're in such trouble. Just imagine the vibe for USC. Like, this is all just exactly what it could not be. Could you imagine the vibe going into USC at home? It's going to be like tailgating at Grandma's funeral. I know how this goes. I've seen it a million times. The vibe this week, it is the worst vibe to have USC rolling in here. And it's totally justified. This team has messed it all up. A football season is a living, breathing thing. And one thing rolls into the next. This is just, it's what it couldn't be. It's just totally what it couldn't be. Oh, it's so bad. Okay, let me get through a couple of my notes, and then I'll give it to you guys. What has been triggered because of this win is the worst part of all the fallout. Freeman's the wrong guy, and I'm sure of it. Swarbrick not letting Freeman hire who he wants for offensive coordinator. Swarbrick scheduling the way they did that did not help this team at all. Listen, you cannot blame the schedule for how Notre Dame has performed on the field with the players and the way they've been coached. You cannot blame the schedule for that. However, you can say, and it's fair to say, whoever made this schedule, man, they didn't do Notre Dame any favors. Whatever it is, you want to blame Captain Jack for whatever hand he had in it flexibility-wise, the ACC, whatever it was. Brutal schedule, no bye till after week 8. That's not an excuse for this. That is not an excuse. It is an underlying frustration, but you can't blame that on this. And I've seen a lot of that on social media, going after Swarbrick for not letting Freeman hire who he wanted at OC, which is a fact. That's what happened. Scheduling complaints, fire all the assistants. Like, I get the immediate reactions to all this, But what parts of it is realistic? You can't fire all the assistants that deserve to be fired, because then you'll have nobody coaching O-line, nobody running the offense, nobody teaching tackling, nobody coaching special teams, and nobody as the head guy making the right decisions, because none of it's good enough. If you fire all the assistants not doing a good job, Notre Dame has nothing but water boys left. That's the issue. There are like these complaints, but then I got to ask, what are realistic ones, bro? Oh my God. Deep breaths, ND Nation, deep breaths. I'm struggling with that. What do we got here? The media spin machine is in full effect, big time, only a few outlets being honest. What does that even mean? Like, being honest, I don't understand. What media outlets are there that are covering for this or could say it's okay? I don't understand it. I'm the biggest Marcus Freeman guy that there was. This hurts me. He's not doing a good job. It hurts me. But I don't know what there is to say. You got exposed. It's out there for everybody to see right now, bro. We all got killed. Yeah, you know what? Good job for Faison. Now, on a real operation, on a real team, that guy's probably holding a water bottle. Good for him for going in this game when Notre Dame needed it and got open twice and made a touchdown. Great job. I know he's half the body size of Merriweather, but this guy actually gets open and catches the ball. Give him the snaps. He's earned it. Like, I get it. Tex ND, blaming the schedule, blaming Swarbrick, inexperience. Those things are all true, but they don't excuse the results. Those are all complaints, but they do not absolve what happened. Josh Pate kept every receipt as he should. Notre Dame fans nailed Josh Pate. He was saying the wrong team's favored by a touchdown. Louisville has the edge here. Notre Dame fans ripped him. He was right about every single thing. That's the way the game goes. So if I'm him, I'm roasting Notre Dame and getting big ratings out of it. It's the right thing to do. $5 holler by Texas Mac. Thank you. I don't understand at all anybody carrying water for anybody. It's all bad. It's all not good enough. So I don't understand it. That's the first message I put out on the postgame show. When you do what we did, you make everything fair game. Big picture, small picture, Freeman, the assistants, the players, all of it's on the table. And you're seeing a little bit of all of it. So let me hammer down a couple things and I'm going to give it to you guys. Number one, big picture with the Freeman stuff. As far as I'm out on Freeman, John, I just can't handle it. You know, the coaching mistakes for Iowa State, now a total meltdown. I can't do it. Fair. That's fair if that's where you're at. The issue is that ship has sailed. Freeman's here now. So if you want to dunk on me or anybody else for liking Freeman, you could do that. And that should give you a little bit of like, I was right, these guys are wrong. And you get a little self boost. But that doesn't solve the problem. Maybe Louisville was just better, period. Absolutely not. Look at the rosters. No. Look at the rosters. Look at the talent. That's not what this was. They were better coached, better motivated, and played better. But they're not better overall. When you look at those rosters, Notre Dame's star talent is way, way higher than Louisville's team full of transfers that wasn't working out somewhere else. That's not it. This was not a talent issue. That being said, Notre Dame looks slow, sluggish, slow on both sides of the ball, but it wasn't a raw talent issue. I looked into that. Notre Dame has way more star power. That was not it. It was everything else. And that is super hurtful. But what I wanted to say is with the big picture, totally fair if you want to dunk on Freeman. But that ship has sailed and Freeman's here. So how much run are you going to get off dunking about being right about Freeman? That doesn't solve the problem we're in now. Like that, it's going to make you feel better for a little bit that you were right and everybody else was wrong, but that doesn't solve Notre Dame's issue. Then there's big picture with the assistants. I don't know what the hell you can do about that right now either. There are multiple assistants not doing a good enough job right now. I don't know what you do about that in the middle of this season. What about the rest of this year? Everybody's talking about these big picture ones. I mean, you got to salvage the rest of the season on these bullet points. If you don't, you're going to lose recruits, and then it's going to kill the one thing that Freeman's done a pretty good job with. One of his best areas is recruiting. But if you let the Titanic end up at the bottom of the Atlantic here, I don't even know how you're going to salvage that. Trust was lost big time here. Trust, this is like the same messaging I had after Marshall. This was a trust game. And whatever trust was left after Iowa State, that at least they were competitive in it and lost, it's gone now. Notre Dame no-showed emotionally. They no-showed physically. They either had no plan or they had an awful plan, and the result was what it couldn't be. Everything's fair game to ask. It hurts, but it's all true. I'm not going to tell anybody that they can't air out any grievances they want towards anybody. But when I say that it's all a problem, every angle of Notre Dame football is getting hit here. The administration, Swarbrick, Freeman, the schedule makers, the assistants, the players, everybody involved's getting nailed for their part of the blame here or wherever people. It's the worst. I'm doing the Michael Scott. It's the worst. It's everything. And it's all fair. I just don't know how you get out of it. $2 Aller. Lose the big game and meltdown equals the Freeman era. You're a favorite against USC by some miracle of God and earth. I just can't. That's the other thing, man. That offensive line thing. And then I'll go right to the calls. I promise. I don't understand the offensive line thing. You were rotating guards and centers in the middle of this game where you're getting your ass beat. And then they ended up saying we weren't getting good enough play in the middle of the offensive line. It was a plan to rotate. And when they put those guys in there, they got bull rushed and got totally killed. So I understand if you're not happy with the inside play and you want to try something different. Is that not a case where you make that decision in practice during the week and you run out new guys and that's their game? I can't believe with O-line in game 6-7 that you're in the middle of the year that you're trying to rotate 3/5 of the O-line in there. Combining that rotation with the offensive game planning, it honestly felt like Notre Dame had no answers, no plan. They were throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something sticked and worked and they could run with it. Bro, you just can't be that. You just can't be that. That can't be your plan. It just can't be your plan. All right, I got a bunch of calls. Let's get through them here. People that donated are going to go first. Rodney, I owe you from the other day. 786-361-818 to start. What's going on, 786?
Hey, John. How's it going?
Really rough, man. Really rough. I mean, there are big picture issues. There's small picture issues. They're all fair. And it's very, very hard to even figure out where to start putting this all back together. Where are you coming from after a couple days to sleep on it?
I'm still convinced that the issues that we're having offensively is, I would put it all on the wide receivers, because nobody that we play respects our passing game at all, even with Sam Hartman back there.
Yeah.
So you put your best corner on a tight end, you drop the safeties down, No one has to cover the middle of the field. No one has to cover the deep shot. Everyone else, 9, 8 people, send them in on a full blitz. The O-line can't pick up the whole team, and then Sam Hartman just gets killed back there if you can't find the tight end.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's all on the wide receivers. The O-line can't do everything. There's a lot of hate on them, but I'm telling you, they can't stop everyone.
All right. Now let's work through this. The problem with that is there is no easy solution to that wide receiver problem, right? Like that's,
I know.
That's
and
the
that's
next,
what I've been saying.
That's the next
if we
step.
didn't have good wide receiver play, we were going to get killed all year. And everyone laughed and mocked at me and said, you got Sam Hartman and all this stuff, and that's great. But Sam Hartman didn't come here to throw the ball to the tight ends. He came here. He could make any of these wide receivers a 1,000-yard wide receiver if any of them even cared slightly. They're slow off the line. They get no separation. Yeah. They're never open. Yeah. Sam Hartman standing back there with the ball, just waiting to get hit. Yep. If he can't find the tight end.
So there is no easy way.
It can't be what it is.
Right. But it is what it is. So then the problem becomes even when we were winning games, you should have known, everybody knew that wide receiver room still has issues. But the issue now is you're not getting a bunch of new bodies in there next week to play against USC. How in the hell can this staff that is on alert for not being good at anything they're trying to do, how do they build out something that makes these defenses play more fair to open things up? I don't even know what you do. And if your answer is the next Rudy walk-on Jordan Faison, you got real issues, bro. You have issues.
No, nope. Everyone's going to look at exactly what Louisville and Duke did to us, and that's the plan for the rest of the year, because we can't run it, because we can't run into a wall and gain any yards.
Yeah.
We can't throw it, so they're not going to – they'll put their 2 or 3 star corners on our 4-star wide receivers and lock us up.
Yeah.
And somebody just watch the tight end. If he starts running, follow him. If he doesn't, head for the line of scrimmage.
What
the
about
ball
this?
Is probably sitting over there.
What about this? What if you just have to acknowledge we have wide receiver issues on the back end, and you got to lean on the tight ends more than we want to, but you're going to have to. And then I think the next best thing you could do is try and get some of those backs more involved in the passing game. You're going to have to run more quick slants and little screens. Get the ball out to Love and hope somebody makes a block for him. Like, you're going to have to use the pieces that you think you can use to supplement that. And I think that might be those running backs that can catch the ball. I don't know, man. But this is just, it's bad and it's trending worse. And I don't know what the answers are. You better figure it out against USC. If you can't move the ball against their defense, I mean, what are we going to do over the bye? I mean, give me a break. Right. There's no easy answers.
I think the game against Ohio State, I think both teams played very cautious. They didn't really know what the other team was going to do. Ohio State started man coverage, stopping the run, and then we started throwing it a little bit, so they backed out and started defending a little bit more, away from the line of scrimmage. So we started running it a little bit more. But even then, it's not like we were just throwing it all over the field for 300 yards, even when we were throwing it.
Yeah.
So this is the same offense as it was last year, except you have a quarterback back there that could make this all look and be better, but we still have the same issues we had last year. Someone cover the tight end if he's covered. Notre Dame's dead walking because they can't run the ball. They can't run through 20 people at the line of scrimmage.
The other thing that's upsetting is whatever the game plans are bad enough. When they don't work, Notre Dame has nowhere to pivot. That is another big issue, and it shows inexperience in that offensive coordinating booth. They have nowhere to go, man. When these teams catch up to the plan and then lock it down, Notre Dame has nowhere to go. They just keep banging their head against the wall. There's no pivot to something else. And that is also a sign of not good enough coaching. And I think we're seeing that as well. You saw it against Duke, continuing to try and do stuff that wasn't working. They don't have anywhere to pivot. And it's a big week, man. Somebody's got to figure something out. Can we get Gino Guidugli with all this experience to be more involved in building the scheme or the play calling? Like, I'm throwing things against the wall too, man, because I don't have the answers. Like, you got to get somebody else involved with this game planning because it's not good enough. And you're not getting better personnel during USC week. It ain't happening. Nobody's walking through the door. Who can help them put together a better plan? Because what they're doing isn't good enough, dude. This isn't a week where Freeman gets to go, we just need to execute better. No, your plan's bad too. Before you even worry about how you execute, the plan's a bad one too. You need to change what you're doing during the week.
Gerard Parker, I think, obviously he's getting out coached, but I think he thinks he's smarter than he is. We came out in that Louisville game. We passed it a couple times in a row.
He's wrong.
And I think that Louisville knew that, well, they're thinking we're going to run the ball, so let's start passing the ball. But as soon as we turned it over, the passing just like went away. And we really just stopped passing. And even when we handed it off to the backs on 3rd and short, we're now 4th and long. I don't even get it. They knew exactly what we were going to do, and that's exactly how they defended us, and they whooped us all up and down the field. Plummer, he's not a good quarterback. How the heck do you let Plummer?
Nope. No.
I can't even. He played at freaking Cal last year.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even good there. I don't understand.
Yeah.
We have so much more talent than all these teams. And once again, just like the Stanford game, we turn it over, we go 3 and out like we did Stanford. We kick it to a team that we have way more talent, and they literally just go right down the field like we weren't even there.
Yep. Man, Notre Dame looks slow too. They look slow on both sides of the ball. Like, the star talent Notre Dame has way more than, that's not up for debate, than Louisville. But we looked like we were in slow motion. We looked like we were running in quicksand on both sides of the ball. And again, that's where people are going to complain about the schedule and being worn down. It's not an excuse. The games are there and you got to go play. We looked a second and a half slow. It was disgusting. But when
Sam Hartman threw the interception, he looked like he just casually tossed it up in the air. It's just like, oh, toss it up to that side.
Can I ask this?
I think that set the whole mood for the whole game.
Let me ask you this. I'm not no expert on play calling and this and that. Didn't that throw seem kind of lackadaisical to you? Like, he just nonchalant flipped it out there for anybody to grab?
I'm telling you, that we came out and I was like, man, Sam Hartman, he's just tossing the ball up there. He's just like, no, it doesn't look, I'm not saying they look like zombies like you said, but they did not look like they had any motivation to be there. He just kind of tossed it up, floated it up there. And of course, our wide receiver couldn't make the catch. And there you go. From that moment on, even my dad, it's funny because my dad, this is the first Notre Dame game he's watched in like 5 years because he was visiting me at my house.
Oh, congratulations for that. Yeah, good for him.
Well, he doesn't watch Notre Dame because of this reason. He says it's too stressful and annoying to watch Notre Dame. So he'll just look at the score at the end of the game. He doesn't have to sit there and lose time off of his life watching Notre Dame struggle against teams that FCS. And I'm not saying that this is that. But I'm saying other bad teams over the year that horrible teams have had no problems putting away, and we're sweating it out in the 4th quarter to win.
Yeah.
He just got tired of watching it.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, he comes and watches this one, and this is what we get.
Yeah. So there's no easy answers. There's no quick fixes. You don't have a bye to be able to even take an extra week to analyze anything. So Notre Dame's up against it this week, and it could get bad before it starts getting better. I don't know, man. Anything else on the way out? Thank you for giving me a call and donating and letting it out, man. It just helps to do it. Let it out.
Well, the only other thing is there's a lot of talks about Benjamin Morrison being a 1st-round pick and all this stuff, and he's real good. He's probably the best cover corner in the country. But if he can't learn how to tackle, he's not going to be a 1st-round pick. I'm telling you.
Yeah, got to tackle. The missed tackles have been an issue all year with no signs of getting better. They are like at or behind the line of scrimmage in position to hit a guy 80 times a game, and we never even touch him. Forget bringing him down. We never even touch him. That is a big issue too. Hey, man, thank you for...
you feel like the linebackers are always just like a second late to everything again like they were last year? Like they come in on a blitz and they're just 1 second behind where they need to be.
Yep.
They miss.
Yeah. It is a quarter second late to where they need to be to shed a block, fill a gap, jump a route. it's just frustrating, man. Hey, thank you very much for starting us off
Yep,
and for the donation. Hey, hang in there, man. There'll be there's another game this week, so we're not done yet. Hang in there, buddy. Have a good one. Take care. It's a fade, geniuses. The wide receiver didn't even go for it. I understand it's a fade, but aren't you kind of supposed to put it more where your guy gets it or nobody gets it? And our guy didn't even really put in that good of an effort. I don't know, dude. It's just rough. Blame whoever you want. I mean, I can't defend anything. What is this? Stuckey's failing. When will we admit it? Now the guys who came in ready are out of position and dropping balls. See, that's hard, though. That's hard, though, because he's trying to refill that room. But it's like a bunch of guys that are freshmen, like that he just kind of has to work. Like none of it's ideal. In a real wide receiver room, I don't think those freshmen are forced to have to be the main guys. In a big time wide receiver room, a guy like Merriweather isn't even considered anymore. He's done. You have other guys. Like none of this is ideal. None of it's where it wants to be. Oh, Mike, what's going on? 361. We're having no fun. What's up, buddy?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I have a million questions. I'll start with, like I told you, I've never been so wrong. I literally told countless people. I mean, go find it on Twitter. There is no way Hartman is dropping back 40 plus times and we're running for 2 yards a carry. My bad. We ran for less than 2 yards a carry and he did drop back 40 times. That is the exact and polar opposite of what
1.6. If we want to be exact, Mikey, 1.6 yards a carry, 44 yards overall. You know what that is? O-line U, baby. O-line U.
That was so bad. And then I didn't realize game 7, we were going to have a turnstile of linemen. And I don't mean in the sense they're getting burned. I mean, we're rotating them like they're receivers. What is that about?
Yeah.
What are we even doing? Game 7? You haven't figured out your offensive line that we have the steady rotation of moving centers to guards, guards to centers, and cycle it back again? What is happening?
Yeah, it's dude, what I'm struggling with is there are so many leaks in the bottom of the boat. It's hard to even identify where you could start because it feels like if you plug one problem, 4 more are still leaking. That's the issue I have. None of it's good enough, man. Like, even that defense, they tried to hang in there and got worn down, but they don't do enough of the right things either. There's not enough havoc. They don't tackle well. Like, I just can't. And then on offense, it's all bad. Where do you even start, Mike? You got a game to play against your rival in a handful of days, and everybody's down and out, like 6 feet under. How do you what can you do this week to try and put it together for USC, man? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what can you even try and do?
Well, it goes back to something I said last week with you on this show. We have to understand what our personnel can and can't do and recognize it and use it to the best of our ability. For example, the fade route you and the previous caller were talking about. I played receiver in college. The fade routes were not designed for your 5'11", 6-foot guys for a very specific reason.
Right.
That's not a big body receiver. So yes, he didn't fight for the ball. Hartman was kind of lazy with it. But if you have a 6'5" receiver, it changes the dynamic. There's things he can do. When the cornerback and the receiver are the same size, if the cornerback's not bigger when you're 5'11", 6 foot, I didn't think to use Flores for that route was the right decision. Then we have this stable of running backs. Why did Jadarian Price and Jabron Payne only get 1 carry apiece? Jeremiah Love was the most effective running back. He only got 5 carries. And I realized we only ran for 1.6 yards a carry. I get that. But again, if they're getting behind the line that quickly and we're running for nothing, how about we try a screen pass? Well, maybe our offensive line can't block for it. I don't know. But I noticed that too. I'm like, they're getting back to us so quickly. Let's burn them.
Yeah.
Burn them on that.
Yep.
We have capable tight ends. Why did only? Well, I guess Holden Stays did catch a ball, I think, but that drove me nuts too.
But like with that kind of pressure coming at us, and when I mean pressure, I don't mean one of our O-linemen made a mistake and a guy got through. I mean there were 3 or 4 that were rushing through every gap with no resistance. How do you not dial up a bunch of blitz beating screens and dump offs over those guys? Or how about this, man? You played receiver in college. You would understand more than I do. Why can't Notre Dame get some of those backs into like some quick slants across the middle, something like that, where you're hitting them in motion and it's a quick pass and you're getting it to a guy with some speed and you can diffuse some of that pass rush by getting it out quick? Why do I see that ran all over the country, but Notre Dame doesn't do it consistently at all?
Dude, we have a guy like Chris Tyree, who real quick, talk about receiver 101. Turn your hands the other way, you moron.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a basket catch. That's not whoa, that drove me nuts just as a principle thing.
Yeah.
I mean, catch the ball, but put your hands in the right position. But Tyree, how many obvious blitzes did Louisville have Saturday night? Oh my gracious. I'm like, that guy's coming. Just not even a slant, just immediately off the line, dart right behind where he is. Hot read. Do we not have hot reads in our offense? Do those not exist for Notre Dame?
Yeah. And
everyone else has them.
You know what else? Everybody's complaining about this. Notre Dame lines up and you're looking at what the defense is doing. And then Notre Dame runs a play that plays right into the strength of that defense. Sam Hartman is a 6th-year guy. Is there not a way for him to check out of some of this stuff and do a check with me or whatever and look at the box and then do something else? Too many times Notre Dame runs a play right into the benefit of the defense, what they're trying to do. Maybe it was so bad Saturday night, you could argue wouldn't matter what we were trying to do, but there's just big problems with all of it, man. It is really bad. And I just don't know what the quick fixes are other than hoping USC's defense is so bad, even we look good against it. That is not a good mind frame to be entering the week with, Mike.
Well, here's the problem with that mindset. Let's talk about the defense, who I can't be too tough on because our inept offense handed Louisville 9 points. You know, I think, I don't know the exact number, but it was something like, it was less than 20 yards of offense resulting in 9 points for Louisville. It was, the defense did exactly what they were supposed to do. The problem is Louisville's already in field goal range. So that does us no good. My kids now are not Maris Leofow fans, and that's kind of my fault. But if I took a drink every time he got juked out of his jockstrap or missed a tackle, I would not have made it to halftime.
No,
sober
it's
alive.
Mike, can I ask you this?
So bad.
Mike, do I notice that more because of his hair? Or does it really feel like he is always near the ball, but never, ever making a play on the guy with it? He's in the screen by the guy with the ball every play, and then that guy goes by him. I can't handle it.
You know, he reminds me of the guy in like the YMCA gym at basketball that just runs 100 miles an hour everywhere, and he's all over the place, but does absolutely nothing that provides any value to anybody anywhere on the court. That's what it feels like. He runs all over the place and looks cool with his hair, but maybe his hair is part of it. But you're right. He is always where he kind of should be and just never does anything with it. It makes no sense. But the tackling is going to be an issue. DJ Brown, the worst angle I've ever seen a safety take on a running back who's broken through the line. If you're going to do that against USC, heads up, USC has better athletes than Louisville does. I don't know if anyone's aware of that or not, but they do.
Yeah.
And the idea that, USC's defense sucks, that's great. Please enlighten me. Point to one thing Notre Dame has done offensively in 3 weeks that gives you any hope that we're going to do anything against any defense, USC or not.
Yeah. No,
that's my issue.
Mike, you're bleeding out and you got to find a way to stop the bleeding. And it's like, dude, if you build a losing streak going into the bye, you're getting 2014 vibes off of this. And it's going to be really a dark second half to the year. And maybe Notre Dame could pull this off somehow. And everybody's going to be having bad thoughts. Even the Notre Dame fans are thinking of the worst case scenario here. Maybe they could put it all together and win this one and start to maybe make people feel a little better. But to do that, it just feels like Notre Dame needs to improve in every single area by leaps and bounds. And I'm just not, there's nothing they've done that makes me think that could be possible with how bad we've seen. This is a rough week, Mike. I don't even know where you start. I don't know, man. Like, the coaches are making mistakes. The players are making mistakes. Nobody seems to have any answers. Who's the leader right now? Who is the leader that starts to right this ship? I don't have a good answer for that, because you can't really trust the coaches right now, and the players aren't doing their part either. Danger spot, danger zone for Notre Dame right now.
Well, the scariest part is, and if I'm USC, I would try this. I would absolutely try this. Louisville blitzed us a lot, and we did a piss poor job of handling it, like we just alluded to.
Yeah.
Find a play that beats the blitz, right? Well, you would think it's number 10 back there, but it's not Sam Hartman. It looked like Drew Pine versus Navy, and that's scary. That's what it looked like. That's what it felt like.
Dude, if you're getting killed on the O-line the way we were, you dial up all those blitz beaters with little dump off screens or a quick slant where Hartman has the ball out of his hand in 1.5 seconds. And Notre Dame actually has the athletes that can make that work after the catch. That is an obvious pivot of no running game and you giving up 80 guys rushing the line every time. That was an easy pivot, and we didn't see it. I don't understand. In the game, that was an easy pivot, and we never saw it.
Yeah, the game of football, whether you're Notre Dame, Louisville, Central Michigan, I don't care. From a strategic standpoint, offensively, you want to keep the defense honest. That's kind of a overlying big picture, right? Keep the defense honest. Don't let them beat you in one dimension of the game. And that's what we let them do, and it makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Notre Dame's in the thick of it. There's no easy way out. Things are really bad. There's a lot of exaggerating that goes on in this fan base, and some could argue that I'm the leader of that, whether it's good or bad, with the over emotional stuff. Like, that's fine. That's my deal. Like, good or bad. It really is this bad, though. Like, people are not exaggerating. We really are in that bad of a spot. It's not an exaggeration on this one. Things really are that bad right now. And that's not me over exaggerating or anything. They are seriously awful. So Mike, I don't know where this is going to leave you the rest of the week, man. Maybe call me back in a couple days and let me know if your feelings have changed as the week goes on. Anything else on the way out? Thank you for the donation and the call, buddy.
Of course. Yeah. I'll try to call on Wednesday, Friday. It might not happen. But the last thing I'll leave you with, and it's just the idea that we're 2-point favorites is absolutely asinine to me. I don't see it. I don't get it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
But
it's amazing how you could watch Notre Dame. I know USC looked bad too. Let's not forget that. They had an off game and looked bad too. But even with accounting for that, how you could look at Notre Dame and be like, yep, they're favored to win any football game this week. It's amazing to me.
Yeah. So I'm really curious. Maybe I'll find something when I look at USC's stats and info, and it'll change my mindset. But
yeah.
Oh, thank you for this, John. I need the vent. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks a lot. But that's what I'm here for on weeks like this. Is this call-in line is the therapy line in a lot of ways. Like, we do say that jokingly, but it really, some people keep everything in. Some people take it out on their dog or their family. Like, some people need to talk it out. So I'm happy to offer that. Some people just need to talk it out, and I'm fine with that. I'll get a couple super chats and get right back to the calls. Christopher Morgan, $10 hour. Now we're in survivor mode. Hypothetically, what if we run the table the rest of the year by wins of at least 14 plus to go 10-2 with the losses against 2 ranked teams? Do we still make the playoffs? Nope. That's my answer. No. Notre Dame has hard enough time getting in with 1 loss. You definitely can't have 2 and 1 of them a blowout. You're done. That dream's over no matter what. Not going to happen. I was having trouble seeing Notre Dame make the playoff with one loss because of the way I think it might end up with the Big Ten maybe and whatever. Even with one loss, I saw it being 2. Forget all about it. Get ready for the Russell Athletic Camping World Bowl. Some garbage nobody cares about like that. $5 dollar from Mike. At what point is it ND's fault? You have your talented QB senior, O-line you, great defense, great running back, your coach. Money and independence is catching up. It's when you say blame ND, like, what do you mean? Like, who at ND? That's a pretty big one. Like, it could be a whole lot to blame there. Oh, Kent. He's got to be entertained by this. Whoa, we in some shit now. We certainly are. Deep shit. $5 holler from Irish MP. Sits the 10 men on the field mistake. It looks like the players are starting to lose belief in the Freeman system, and it showed against Louisville. Wouldn't you think that if that was a big factor, we would have lost to Duke? Like, I get the theory, but then I start thinking that if that really was that big of a thing, they would have laid down and played dead and not came back against Duke. So I find that weird that you would, right after questioning the coach and the mistakes after Iowa State, they win and then that falls apart later. Like, I get the theory. I just think if that was the case, we would have been dead against Duke. KD, $2 holler. Those USC tick prices are dropping fast. Oh, I bet. 419, and he's too depressed to rhyme. All right, Mark. I'm sorry I can't wear your chain, buddy, but that can only come out during anybody who doesn't know. Mark with glasses is the one who made me my pimp chain, but it only comes out after wins. So who knows? That thing could be collecting dust. Tom with the $5 holler super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, man. Let's see. 419, and then Rodney, I'm coming to you. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, it's just...
I finally got around.
We're down bad, dude, in every way. On the field, off of it. Like, we are down bad. This is a rough dynamic, and it's not being exaggerated.
Yeah, it's rough on everybody. I finally got around to programming your number on my phone, because every time before I call, I try to remember your little jingle in my head, and I'm like, I gotta look it up to make sure. But anyways, I was on hold at the post game show for 2 hours, and I did not care at all. Every caller was hitting all the notes.
Mark, I'm sorry about that, dude. There's so many calls coming in there, and then, dude, people are like texting me, put me on. Like, there's a lot going on, and I'm trying to get better at navigating it, but there's no really easy or fair way. So those are just kind of
a big problem to have.
And they're in the moment too, where everything's a cluster at once. I'm still adjusting to being able to produce the immediate post-game show a little better. And it's hard. You know, Pat helps with some of it, but it's just a lot of moving parts. Where are you at? Where are you at now, man? Where the hell are you at 2 days after this? Like, I do not feel any better. There are wide-ranging problems. How do you begin to even put the pieces together this week?
I mean, like, looking back, like, I guess we should have seen it coming, because the last couple weeks, you know, they look like shit. So what do we think was going to happen?
Yeah.
That's kind of what my immediate reaction, like, during and immediately after the game. And, like, everybody was kind of saying, you know, question the entire operation. And, you know, I think after Duke, when I called, you know, I was hitting a lot of these points, but like with Freeman, like his game management, motivation, you know, like situational football, being clueless, his sideline presence, he just looks like he's like checked out sometimes.
Oh, man. It's just kind of There's no easy fix when the issues are so broad. That is the problem I have, man. I have issues with almost everything. And I don't know where that leaves you in a tight week with your rival and the reigning Eisman winner coming to town. And you have issues all over that I need to see get better. I don't even know how you attack that when nothing you do is good enough. How do you attack that?
Yeah, I think the vibes are at an all-time low right now. And I think it probably feels worse than it actually is. But to me, I think this is Freeman's worst loss since he's been there because of the, trajectory and the momentum. And, we're a 4th and 15 play away from having lost 3 games in a row going on 4.
Yeah.
For perspective. And I just,
it's tough, man.
In a lot of ways,
it's so tough.
Worse than it is. And
yeah. And you know what else too? The loss to Ohio State was acutely painful for the specific way that it ended, which was just like stole your soul out of your body. But you didn't have the worry of like, we don't even belong on the field with them. We're a total mess. We're clueless. Like we can't even compete. Now you have that worry, and it's a whole different kind of pain because it's a bigger picture pain more than like an in the moment one. I just, how do you begin to pull this back together this week? There's questions about the coaching and the questions about the players. What is the messaging this week, Mark? What can you message to the team to get their minds going this week? I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Quit sucking.
I think they need to bring in somebody from outside of the building. Like, I don't know if like Lou Holtz could hang out for a week, but they need a different message or something.
No, Lou Holtz is too busy training for that no holds barred cage fight against Ryan Day. He didn't have time to come bail the Irish out. He's training for that fight, baby.
Oh, they need something.
Mark, it's bad. It's bad. And can you imagine? You're not going to the USC game this week, are you?
No.
Can you imagine that vibe? You know me, I'm the vibe feeling guy. Can you imagine it's going to be a little cooler in South Bend? All the natives are miserable. Like this is just, it's a very, very bad vibe. And Notre Dame fans are going to be quiet because they're miserable, but they're going to be begging for a reason to get engaged and think you could beat USC. They're going to have to make a play early somewhere. It's the only way to save this vibe.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Pat can go ahead and go to that game because we're not worried about the Cotter's curse on that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we have other curses to worry about. So, Mark, I don't know, man. It's all bad. The media reporting it's all negative, and it should be, but it's so negative. It's everything. The administration, the hiring, Swarbrick, the coach, the schedules, the players. It's everything. And that is a bad place to be halfway through year 2, buddy. Bad.
That's bad. I hope it doesn't get any worse.
Oh.
Well, thanks for taking my call, John.
No problem, Mark. Thank you for all your work. I saw a couple of your shorts. I'll probably cut them up later. I like some of it. So thanks again for the work, man.
All right. Take it easy.
Have a good one, buddy. Man, what a nice guy. You could hear the pain in his voice, and he's the one who made me the chain. It's just a shame I can't wear it. Terrence with the $10 hour, regular caller of the year here. Man, that offense looked horrible. This is not the reason we brought Hartman here to look like Drew Pine. Man, it really is amazing. You're trying to get now you're getting it all, man. Hartman was the dude. Now he's not the dude. It's just so rough. Rodney, what's going on? Sorry I missed you Saturday night, buddy. What's up?
Oh, man. 1994, man. The 1994 game against I think that was Colorado, right? In the Cotton Bowl. Or something like that. Fiesta Bowl, maybe? Because I know we played him I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the 94 game, the 95 game, where things started to go downward for Lou. I mean, he got him back to being, pretty good in 95 and 96. But this whole thing started right after Notre Dame's victory over A&M in the 1994 Cotton Bowl. They finished number 2. And then the next year they lost 4 Hollis's first year starting. And this whole thing has just felt like a roller coaster ride of trying to get back to the point they were in 1993. And it just seems like, there are years where they've been bad. There's been years where they've been just a little bit pretty average. There's been years they've surprised us. There's been years where we expect them to be good and they were good. But there's always that game that happened on Saturday. There's always that game. And it's the one thing I could find kind of consistent through all these years is there's that one game that kind of defines. And what happens is, losing, really, we lost that game by more than 13 points. I mean, this team unraveled.
Late,
third quarter.
It wasn't even as close as what that scoreboard said. No way. Nope. No way. No way. But Rodney, how did you get there? Is one part of this is how did you get into the moment that allowed that to happen? And then the tougher question is, how do you get the hell out of it this week? You have no time. You don't have a bye where you have a month to collect your mind again and build out something different. You need to get it right now and stop this ship from sinking to the bottom of the ocean. I don't know how you do that when you have problems in every area of your team. Like, where are you at on this?
Right.
How do you even begin to try and get this on the tracks?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to, I want to kind of hurry up through this, but I got 2 small picture issues points and 2 big picture issue points. Let's get to the small picture right away.
Beautiful.
Small picture right away. Okay. First of all, man, you can't do anything. You can't change from Parker right now. You just can't do it. That's panicking. That's not smart. You got to stick with him for this week. Okay. You have to. Because you just don't have the bye week. If it was a bye week, I completely change my tune. I'm changing my tune. And I will say this, if things get really bad offensively this week, he's going to have a play calling. He'll still be called the offensive coordinator, I guess, and cosmetically, but you got to have someone else calling the plays. He's a hell of a tight ends coach, no question. I think Notre Dame needs to can he coach his way out of this? It kind of goes, and I was going to tell you another small picture issue too. It kind of goes hand in hand with it about not giving up on players. People are saying, "Oh, Merriweather sucks. Get him out of here." Put someone else in. Yeah, for now, you're probably right. But don't forget some of the Notre Dame receivers that blossomed in their later years, like Claypool. Claypool was great as a freshman, and then sophomore and junior years, I don't know, man. He just did not impress me. And then he really caught on as a senior and played great. And Miles Boykin, very similar. Remember, he flashed in that LSU game in the bowl game. The Citrus Bowl game is when he flashed, and we're like, wow, look at that catch. That catapulted his whole senior year, man. Maurice Stovall did this under Weiss, man. He was somebody that was just like, God, man, is this guy ever going to reach his potential? And that year with Samardzija, him and Samardzija were a great duo at receiver, man. So don't give up on players. Yes, Merriweather is not playing that well right now, but if he sticks it out, if he doesn't transfer, don't be a bit surprised if Merriweather is, being that receiver we thought he would be, next year, maybe, let's say. Just saying, okay? Same goes for coaching, man. I don't think Parker's the guy. It's just,
you think?
Dude, come on. Tommy Reese, I'm sorry, much better than, say what you want about Tommy Reese, man. I don't think that he was a high-level coordinator, but I think that he was better than people thought. And I think he was, he kind of was learning on the job too, if you think about it. He only been an offense coordinator for a handful of years at that point, 2, 3, something like that.
See, but here, now wait. Here's the biggest issue I have with this part of the discussion.
Yeah.
It's very, very complicated because for a fact, it's not even up for debate that this was not Freeman's premier choice. That's not up for debate. Like, this was not Freeman's number one choice. I am convinced he was frustrated. Notre Dame was on fire by the media getting mocked for the Ludwig deal. And spare me sending me the message that says, look at how bad Utah's offense is this year. That's what you want. It would have been better than this. At least he had experience. He would have known how to use Notre Dame's personnel a little bit better. I'm convinced of that, regardless of what Utah looks like now. But everybody knows this was not Freeman's first choice. I think he panicked and said, I got to put out this dumpster fire and the media killing us. Every day we don't have a hire, it's going to get worse. Then he went down the hall 2 doors and went to this guy to put out that fire, and it's turning out to be a big mistake. Big mistake.
I agreed. Okay, so let me try to focus back here for myself for that small picture thing, and then we can blow that up because this is where my mindset is. All right, so first 4 weeks of season, things were cooking. Yes, they played inferior competition. We've seen Notre Dame play inferior competition and look bad on offense. The one thing that was very obvious was the players themselves were playing well. Like, didn't matter the competition. They were playing well. They were doing the right things. The coaching staff was structured. This is mental, John. This is mental or whatever, or psychological. Come on, man. You've been in the clinical psychology for a long time. You understand things on a clinical level psychologically. Me, I've been in the acting world for years, 9 years of acting school altogether, 1 year of voiceover, 3 years of LA film school. I understand behavior on a practical level. So we get this. We understand this. That's why we talk about the big picture of Notre Dame Nation and the way things ebb and flow. You can tell this is a team that psychologically is almost like trauma. That Ohio State game had we all kind of felt it, man. I didn't drink again the next 2 weeks because usually I drink beer watching the game. I'm not even doing that because I was so devastated after that game that night.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, say what you want. Everybody say, oh, fire Freeman. Look, Notre Dame fans, don't you feel that way too? Just look at yourself. Like, how much do we feel that too? Like, you can't let this go, John. I don't blame you. But man, when I was watching the game, when we got to the fourth quarter, I honestly thought to myself, okay, we're down by 4. I really think we're going to pull this one out. That's what I was thinking, but but at the same time, I could see this unravel real bad, and I'm not going to get all pissed and yell and scream. I'm just going to take it for what it is. If we can drop that far after 4 games, we can also get back to that point. I truly believe, okay? I truly believe that, man. But we have to make something happen. Maybe this is the week it does. USC feels a lot, so now we're getting small picture. USC feels a lot like Clemson last year, only the opposite. Clemson, it was like we knew that their offense just wasn't that good, and they were just barely hanging on, but they were undefeated. Notre Dame was coming off a couple very pathetic losses, and we went into that game. This is different, don't get me wrong, because we had a game to get that out of our way before going into that Clemson game. We didn't come off a loss before that. But the point is, USC, it's their all offense. It's their defense that looks like they're just ready to fall apart completely. I don't know what happens, John. I don't know if it's literally just confidence because everybody looks slower, don't they? Now, they didn't just all of a sudden get slow.
Dude,
okay, now maybe some of this is Bayless.
They looked real slow. Like on offense and defense, they looked incredibly sluggish and slow.
Right.
They
but
looked
we didn't see them look that way earlier is my point. It's not like everybody's like, oh, you got slow play. No.
Here's the problem, though. Even if you agree with that, then the next thing you say is, oh, well, you look at the tough stretch of schedule we're in and where the byes placed. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like you're blaming the administration and the schedule makers. And then we're finding another way
But John, here's the thing. It's all of it. It's all on the table. It's all on the table. That's correct. That is correct. You can't mention that that's going to be a problem. And then when it's a problem, say, well, why did you let this happen? You acknowledged it was going to be a problem because it's human nature. So my thing is this. You're right. Listen, it is also their fault. It is. It's a big, huge egotistical move on the Notre Dame. Huge egotistical move to schedule it like that, man. And also, we need to be better prepared for that as a coaching staff, man. And even as a fan base, get your expectations in check, man. I did it too. I got myself believing 10-2, and I'm like, with that grind, I don't know, man. I don't know. They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their strengths coach. I'm like, am I drinking too much Kool-Aid? And Freeman too. I remember saying, man, this is going to be incremental improvement. He's going to get better every year. We saw this last year. We saw the two horrible losses. I'm sorry, it was worse last year. No, and they're saying it was not as bad now. It was worse last year. And he was resilient. He showed resiliency and he got the team to believe. maybe that happens this week. Now that we're counting them out, maybe this is the week that all this gets jump started. Then you can go into the off week.
Hey.
And isn't it crazy how perception can change like that?
Hey,
if
man,
that happens?
Listen, I want you to be right. I'm just saying, if the biggest positive we have to feel better about us playing good against USC is we're playing so bad, like it would be so Notre Dame to bounce back from that for no reason other than it would be so Notre Dame. Man, we're in a bad spot. We're down right now. This is rough, dude.
Oh, no. What's right in front of our eyes is what we see reality.
Tell me if you agree with this, though, and then I'll let you give me the final word here. Marcus Freeman needs to be done with all this buddy on the coaching staff thing. Like, I get it. It's cute that they're all friends and that they all like each other. He needs to have he's not doing a good enough job, but he's in charge. He needs to light some of these guys up. They're not doing a good enough job. And again, I don't know what you can change or anything. He's not doing a good enough job either, but neither of those guys. There is just no plan and no adjustment. Nobody's doing what they need to do. I don't know what you do, man. It's all a problem. It's all a problem. I give you the final word.
Oh, no, John, listen, all the things you're saying and thinking and feeling, I am right there with you. I'm just trying to be like, okay, taking that, the Notre Dame side out of it, immediately what can be done? All the players can be like, F this crap. We're coming out there and we're going to, and I could see that happening. USC's probably ripe for the taking defensively. I think Caleb Bourne's just going to happen. He's going to make a couple fantastic plays and make us look stupid again. I have absolutely no doubt.
Yeah.
But we got to get a couple licks in, man. We got to get a couple licks on that guy that we didn't get last year. And maybe we end up pulling that one out, and then we go into the bye week, and now we're soaring into the last 4 games. And I'll bet whatever happens in this game, here's what I'm going to say, and then I'll let you go, John. I think we're going to be a completely different team after that bye week. Hey, we'll see. Keep the receipt on that one. I think after the bye week, we are going to be a completely different team when everybody's ready to write Freeman off, fire him. Let's say we do lose this game by a field goal or something. Now everybody's done. Then I think we catch steam, but it's just going to be like I was saying, man. I'm thinking 10-2, but it's something deep down tells me we're going to be 9-3, and hopefully with a great bowl win. And that's what I think we're looking at right now. Now, the USC game, I think it is going to be a great game. Do they have enough left in the tank at this point?
Yeah.
All negativity and everything. Do they have enough left in the tank?
Yeah. That's a big issue.
A big question we're gonna get answered this week.
Yeah, that is another issue. I actually wrote about that. I don't know which article when it's gonna post, but one of my questions was, even if Notre Dame's emotionally ready to play USC, what if they're just so worn down and beat down now they don't have it in them to keep up on D? I don't know, man, but everything's on the table that's bad. Hey, you at least have a little optimism and remain with some hope. And I think we needed that today, man. So thank you for having a little bit of ray sunshine at the end here. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's just, John, this is the thing. I'll leave you with this. Like Jared Parker's going, look, we need a new special teams coach. We need a new offensive coordinator. We need and Chance Stuckey, you're on high alert too, man. This guy, no one's talked a lot about him, but come on. And the players step it up. Tyree, catch the damn ball when it's thrown to you. I mean, some of this is just like, dude, just pitch and catch. It's just make a play that you practiced in practice, for God's sake. We'll see. John, at that note, deep breaths, man. Yeah, deep breaths.
Try and have a good week, man. Give me a call later. Thank you.
You got it, bud. Bye.
Oh, man. What else do we have? But, John, I thought Artman was bigger and stronger than the other quarterbacks. I thought he could see over the line, finally. Are those things not true? Like, that's the other thing, you guys. I'm sick of taking, I thought Artman was supposed to be the guy. Or whatever he is, he's better than what we had, even struggling. And then it's like, oh, John, you wanted Kelly and Reese gone. Now we got this. Are you happy now? Bro, what if I just say none of it's good enough? What Kelly and Reese were cooking together for Notre Dame wasn't good enough either. And what we're getting now isn't good enough either. Why do I have to pick one of those or the other? And then that's what I want. Neither operation was doing a good enough job. Kelly and Reese didn't do a good enough job in their own way. And now we're not getting a good enough job here in a different way. All of that's true at the same time. That's the thing. Like, no way. Kelly was much better. Under Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, every season had one blowout where Notre Dame was not competitive. Every one. Every one of those years Kelly was there had at least one blowout where Notre Dame didn't even show up. Every year had one. So I'm not happy with any of it. The way Kelly and Reese did it, I didn't like. And the way it's going now, I don't like. So I don't know what to tell you. Oh, man. These are just bad times. Thank you for the donation. $5. Marcus Freeman, just a different flavor. Mario Cristobal. Like, I've seen that a lot on the internet. I've seen that on social media all the time, that he is just the latest Mario Cristobal, hot coordinator guy. And he's just a different variation of that with his personality. I've seen that on social media too. And it's just rough to think about. $5 olive from Willie. I can't answer that question for you, but I'm not in the mood to joke about your name either today. I've actually lost all faith that ND can ever win a championship ever, and that really sucks. I'm not saying ever, but they got to get a lot of things right. Mike Hawk, Brian Kelly doesn't lose to Louisville. Yeah, you're right, but he loses to Ohio State by 3 scores. So does that make you feel better? Like, I'll agree with that. He probably doesn't lose to Louisville, although he lost to Cincinnati at home his last year. Like, if we're going to play this game, we can play it all day. You're saying Brian Kelly doesn't lose to Louisville, but he lost to Cincinnati at home his last year. Like, if you're going to do this, then I'm going to do it. If you're going to do this, then I'm going to do it. Like, if you're going to say, how are you sure Kelly would have went on the road and beat Louisville, but in his last year, he lost to Cincinnati at home? These are just bad times, you guys. Nothing's good enough. Nothing's good enough. 480, what do you know? Good morning.
Hey, what's going on, John? This is Greg, man.
Hey, man. It's just, I don't know, man. Everything's a mess. Everybody's struggling here. Where are you at with any of this? Can you provide any clarity? Because we're all struggling.
Well, man, after Ohio State, man, I didn't call in or anything, man. I was so gut punched by that loss that I didn't say anything, man, because I just couldn't believe that
it was the way it happened, man. It was just, it took your soul right out of your body the way it happened, didn't it?
Yeah, man. It's like, it's kind of crazy is when we stopped them on 4th and 1, man, and we had the ball with like 2 minutes and 30-some seconds left. Like, I kind of started shaking because I couldn't believe I'm like,
yep. Nope.
Are we getting ready to beat Ohio State? Like, I was just like, oh my God.
I'm with you.
And then when we, when all that happened, man, it's just like, it's kind of like what happened the next week when we played Duke. It was almost like we were almost afraid to win because we couldn't believe that we were in the position to win. And the coaching staff, somebody got caught watching the game instead of coaching the game. And that's why we lost the game.
Now, let me ask you this, man. Do you feel like Notre Dame's still not recovered from that? Because I've seen a lot of that. Of saying that situation ultimately broke them. Like, do you feel like they're still hungover from that? I understood it against Duke. You think they're still just fighting that and it's an uphill battle or what?
Well, being a former athlete playing football, basketball, track, and all that, I understand, like the previous caller said, about the psyche, especially when it's a close game or if it's a game that you had it in your hands and you gave it away. It can affect you psychologically because, it's like when you know you had everything pieced together, and it's like the whole idea of, because no matter how we look at it, these kids look at some of the same stuff we look at. They just have to. They can't really publicize as much as we can.
Yeah.
But they know that if they had beat Ohio State, what it would have done for them in terms of putting them in the playoff picture and all that kind of stuff. And they knew that by losing that game and not just losing the game, but losing it the way they did, it just kind of deflated them, man. Like, it's almost like, dag, man, you know, we're back at this again. And, you know, the Duke game, that was just, that was luck, man, because we really should have lost that game, you know. But this Louisville game was, I'm going to be honest with you, man, when I turned the game on, I was just kind of looking at the reaction, like just kind of some of the facial reactions. And I'm telling you, man, when Hartman threw that interception, I knew we lost the game. I'm going to just be honest with you.
Dude,
because you can tell.
Man, can I ask you this?
You
Dude, it felt like Notre Dame's side didn't even want to be there. They looked out of it,
exactly
dude. When they zoomed to the sideline, everybody looked like zombies. Freeman, Hartman even looked out of it, kind of glazed over. None of them looked engaged. And am I the only one that thought that? They weren't hyped. They weren't jumping around. They all looked out of it, dude. They looked zoned out.
And Hartman sitting on the bench. I'm going to tell you something. I watched the USC-Arizona game, and I'm going to point something out about – people don't have to like Caleb Williams, but I'm going to point something out about leadership. When they were in overtime, I watched Caleb Williams rally his team together, and he demanded that when they got on that field, they were going to score a touchdown. And when they scored, he went to the defense, and he demanded that they get that stop. And what happened? They got the stop, and they won the game. Now, the defense might be what it is for USC, but when you have a leader, okay, when they were in that close game with Arizona, you didn't see Caleb Williams over there sitting on the bench just looking around and, you know, hoping that something flies up. While he's up and he's engaged, he's talking to his guys. He's like, hey, man, look, let's do this, man. And when they got in overtime, I watched that, man. And no matter what people have to say about the guy, that team believes in him, man. They rally behind him. And whatever ounce of strength and energy they had left in the tank, they put it out. They put it out on the field for the guy because they know that he's putting it out on the field for them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm not seeing at Notre Dame right now. I don't see somebody getting in the faces of their teammates and say, hey, man, we're not out of this thing. That time when he threw the interception, that should have been the moment that Hartman went over to the O-line and receivers, running backs, everybody, and said, hey, man, I threw the interception. The jersey's out. Let's play football, man. Let's focus. No, he's over there on the bench, just sitting around.
Man,
so where's the leaders at, man?
Something seemed off to me, man. Something seemed off to me. When I first looked at those guys, they all looked just kind of tired and worn out, kind of worn down to me. And I didn't see the energy it just looked curious to me. And the reaction after the interception in the first drive was not good. Like, everybody was just sitting there. Something's off and awful. And you don't have a lot of time to get it right, man. What the hell can Notre Dame do this week to try and put it together against our rival coming to town, man? You got to figure something out in a couple damn days.
Well, when Freeman said in the post-game press conference that the team wasn't prepared for whatever reason.
No, you're the reason, man. That's on you then.
What? Yeah, man, what are you talking about for whatever reason? You're the coach.
Right.
You're supposed to have these guys prepared to play, man. I mean, he needs a publicist, man, because he makes things worse when he talks about stuff. He just makes it worse. He makes it sound just as worse as before the question's even asked.
Well, so, now let me wait. Like time out. Here's the other thing that needs you. I'm glad you brought that up. The other thing that needs to go on now, we're going to find out in a half hour, actually at 11 o'clock. The media needs to change their tone. Things are different now.
They do, man.
I need the media that is in
put
that
the pressure
room.
on. I need to hear some heated questions. I need
Yes.
somebody to put the heat on him and say, "Hey, man,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
like don't friendly laugh and joke. No, somebody in that room needs to say, "Hey, man, what's going on with this team? What are you gonna do? Like challenge him? Come out, challenge everything. Challenge him.
Yeah.
And I don't care that he can get flustered and the frustrated. No, man, you are the coach.
Yeah,
your job and
you need
your,
answers.
no matter what it is, it's on you.
You need
got
Jay
to have
Carr.
this team prepared to play.
Jay Carr. That's funny. They need to start asking some tough questions. It's all over with that all we're all buddies and all that, even in the media room. They need to start asking real questions.
That's over,
all
man.
the laughing and the BS
that's
and
over,
throwing softball questions up and letting him hit it out of the park, and we just need to execute better. Things have changed. The realities are different now, and I need the media to react to that. And I need them to start asking some very uncomfortable, pointed questions because they're valid, and I need them to ask them. Okay.
And I'm gonna say this too, man. So I think I made a post on your video yesterday, and I quoted from what Jack Swarbrick said when he wrote the letter to the fans after the whole Ludwig debacle.
Yeah, misguided
and
passion. The misguided passion that I have.
Yeah, you know, and I summarized it basically saying like, you know, man, you know, I'm sick and tired of year by year getting my hopes up, thinking that this team is going to be different. We almost sound like the Cowboys. This is our year. This is our year. This is our year. But then we end up dropping the ball somewhere during the season, and we're right back to square one again.
Yeah.
And the administration, if they don't care about winning championships, why the hell should I as a fan care about winning championships if this program doesn't care about winning? The only reason why anybody knows about freaking Notre Dame is because of football. If it wasn't for football, Notre Dame wouldn't be nothing but some little small private school.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody would know about.
Nobody wants to hear that.
I don't care.
Whenever I say that, I get told that I'm white trash and that it's about the academics, and none of those eggheads degrees would even matter if it wasn't for elite football. Elite football is the only reason that degree is worth what it is. It isn't your big brain. It's because they won a lot in football and it built the profile. Everybody needs to just admit it. Just admit it.
The football program is what brought value to the degree. If it wasn't for the notoriety and the prestige of Notre Dame football, that degree would not mean as much to the world. The
100%.
reason why people respect and value that school is because of the backs of the previous coaches of Newt Rockne, Leahy, Parsegian, all these programs, you know, the people that won the championship
and
that brought the type of prestige to this program.
To me, they have a moral obligation to maintain that standard throughout time, to honor and respect those that made it what it was. And now it feels like they all have enough money coming in there that it really isn't that big of a deal either way. I'm just telling you where I see it from the way I'm sitting. That's how I see it.
The same thing.
They got enough money coming in there that it doesn't matter.
We'll never win another championship.
It hurts me.
If that's how they think,
it hurts me.
We will never. We'll be a 10-win every year. 10 wins.
That hurts.
Go to the toilet bowl and hope that we get one, because these people care more about money in their pockets than care about us fans who spend our hard-earned money and our time sitting, cheering on this team year by year, flying out from all over the country, all over the world to these games. I hope they got a good payday for that Dublin trip.
I hope it was worth it.
Look at how we're looking right now.
Yeah, I hope it was worth it. You made a bunch of money, but how many losses? You know what I mean? Is it worth it to you?
Yeah, man, was it worth it?
Yeah, I know. I have problems with all of it, man. That's the issue. So what do you do this week, man? Like, I'll give you the final word here. Thank you for the call. Like, what can you try and do this week to try and get a little bit back on track on the way out here? Let me know. What can we do?
Man, first and foremost, there needs to be somebody else involved in the play call.
Has to be.
Jared Parker should not be the only person calling plays.
No.
Get Gino involved. Get Dylan involved.
We're past that line. We're past that line.
We're past
like
the line
you need help in that room. Yes.
Yeah, he had his chance and he's fumbled it, man. So no, somebody else got to be involved. Freeman, you got to be more engaged on the sideline. I am sick and tired of you standing over there looking like a deer in headlights. Like, it's almost like I watched that game, John, on Saturday night, and it's like looking at Freeman is like how I look on the couch. And I'm on the couch. You're on the field. You can change it. I can't.
Yeah.
Look, man, and that's very, very, very concerning and scary, man. Because if you are looking like you don't know, like you don't have the answers, man, this program is in huge shambles. In we got a huge problem. I tell you right now, the leash ain't that long for you, bro. The leash ain't that long for you, man. You got about another year, maybe two, because what Pete is not going. I don't think the administration and people that donate money, okay, that cares about the football program, they're not going to sit. Why should NBC give this program another TV contract to keep providing a lackluster product on the field?
Because we're all dumb and we're going to watch anyways. Maybe that's the answer. We're all dumb and we're going to watch anyways.
That's the only thing. That's the saving grace of this program having exclusive TV
because
contract.
I like being miserable. Because I like being miserable every fall, so I'm going to tune in. That's why.
So Freeman need to understand, like off season, when the clock hits zero or going to bowl season, hey, look, tell homeboy Gerald Parker, hey man, can't call plays no more, man. You can go tight ends coach, or hey, I'll see you later.
Yeah,
Stuckey, man, you on a hot seat, bro, because that wide receiver room is pathetic right now, man. It is absolutely pathetic the way the receivers are playing, and this is supposed to be a guy that's supposed to be a technique guy, okay? So, like, what is it, man? Because I'm not seeing any type of improvement from any of the receivers, man.
Yeah,
and then we're missing Matt Bayless, man. Because I'm telling you right now,
that's a problem too. That's
a
problem
wear and
too.
Tear on their bodies, man.
The bye is a part of it. That not having the bye till after week 8 is a part of it. But I feel like I'm seeing a little more worn down than I like from that as well. I'm with you, and it did occur to me. You got to keep in mind you lost your guy. Maybe you're running out of gas quicker. I hate it all, dude. Everything's just bad right now. It just is. It's rough.
Well, for John, I'm gonna tell you, I'm going camping this weekend with my lady, man.
Good
so
for
I
you,
will
man.
not be. I'm not watching the game. I can't. She talked me into going. She's like, you need to go and do something away from.
Dude, I'm good for her, man.
So
good for her, man. I hope you guys get some fresh air in you and get out there and have a good weekend, buddy. Hey, good call, man. Thanks for touching base.
No problem, man. Good hearing from you.
I have a good one. Man, he's always speaks clearly. I appreciate it. Oh, we see Pat's in here disagreeing with people. Good morning, buddy. Hope you golfed well. Katie Keefe. I got 818 and 574 both donated, so you're going to come up next. Tom, I see Tom up there too. I got to touch base with you. Katie, now that the playoffs are out, quit playing the veterans who should not be out there like DJ Brown. The problem with that is this isn't the NFL where you could tank, play your youth, lose a lot, and then get the first pick. That's a big problem with college football. When you're in a bad dynamic, there is no tanking and bottoming out and playing your young guy, because then you lose all your recruiting class and every one of these losses adds up on you. That's not an answer here. And I get why fans will say, screw it, we're out of the playoffs now. What does it matter if you play young guys and they make a mistake? I have that intrinsic gut reaction too. You need to understand why coaches don't do it. It's because they don't want to lose their whole recruiting class if you go 7-5 or something. So I don't think that's realistic. Pat, dear God, you can't win with this fan base. Before, people were mad at BK for his sideline demeanor. Now they're mad at Freeman on his, who was the opposite. When you lose, it's all bad. When you lose, it's all bad. One bad game and the coaches lose the locker room. Let's get serious. I disagree. The defense sure as hell looked like they wanted to be there. They looked like they wanted to be there, but like the defense tries staying in there, but they can't quite make the biggest of big plays great defenses make. They're kind of like a bendy but don't break. But what I need is like 3 more turnovers a game and 5 tackles for a loss with 2 strip sacks. Like the defense hangs in there, but they're not making the plays that get you over the edge. They're always close to it, but not quite doing it. Notre Dame's going to be the death of us all, bro. 808 and then 574. What's going on, 808?
Hey, John, I want to reply to people. People say Brian Kelly would have won against Louisville, but what happened in 2016? We lost at home against them.
Yeah, I know, man. There's no way to win. Listen, man, I didn't like what Kelly and Reese were doing, and I don't like what I'm seeing now. I'm sorry. Like, why can't I just say none of it's good enough? Why does it have to be one or the other? Like, neither's good enough right now. But now you're in a mess. Now you're in a mess, man. I don't know how you navigate out of this. What do you do if you're Notre Dame?
I mean, if they look like zombies now, what can you expect against USC after midterms week? Honestly, I still believe in Freeman because he's elevating the quality of the roster. And then he might, like people say, he might be just another version of Mario Cristobal. But in the NIL world, that is what we need just to be competitive at Notre Dame. It's like, you remember what happened after 2016? Brian Kelly had his revelation, and then we had his 2.0 iteration. Basically, it's like Freeman hired like his buddy for a offensive coordinator. I don't blame him. Honestly, I blame us. Like I paid $800 for the Ohio State ticket and $25 for the shirt without questioning it. If the admin is not willing to pay $2.8 million for the buyout for Ludwig, the fans as a collective should not buy tickets or shirts. Remember in 2016 after we lost to Duke, you had the student section chanting, "Fire Van Gorder," and then the next day they fired him. If the offense continues to be offensive, there's no production against USC. I need the fireworks from the stadium, honestly.
Yeah, and you know what I've given up on with Notre Dame is, I always hear if you don't like what's going on with your team, don't show up. That'll show the owner. I'm a White Sox fan, and they're horrible, and I advocate nobody ever goes to a game, and the whole place will be empty. You're never going to have that at Notre Dame ever. There is always enough people that love Notre Dame and do not care about football results, just want to be there for a day, go to a game with their old law school buddies. We are never, ever going to be able to create that dynamic at Notre Dame because there are enough people involved here that genuinely don't care whether we win or lose or have football supremacy or not. They're going to show up and they're going to pay. 10-man stand says not true. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. You don't think stands are going to be full against USC? You don't think ticket prices are going up and they're going to have no problem selling out season tickets for next year? I'm telling you, they will.
Yeah.
They will. People will spend money. A lot of those people don't care like we do of whether Notre Dame wins or loses or is elite. They want to go for something to do. It is a sightseeing tour going to Notre Dame. Not enough people care about the results. Not enough people are serious about that. It's just something to do. Notre Dame being a destination in that way hurts it overall because you end up with a lot of people that aren't there for the football. They're there for everything else, and the football happens to be there too. Yeah, it's an all-day event. It isn't about the football for a lot of these people, okay? Anyways, what do you do this week, man? How does Notre Dame try and pull it all together when they're this down and out? What's the roadmap?
I mean, you don't even have time at all. And I would want to say like fire Parker, but really like you have to stick with him.
Yeah.
You have to support him. Like if people are starting the first year, when I was starting in my job in the ship, I've never been in a leadership position where I had like 25, 50 people under me. I had to rely on the experienced people. I had to ask them, what do you do?
Okay.
So,
how about
honestly,
you get Gino Guidugli, who has decades of experience and is the quarterback coach? How about you not embarrass Parker or whatever, but you got to find a way to get Gino more involved, because Freeman's a defensive guy. That's not his wheelhouse either. I need you to get different eyeballs in the plan here and more experience. And maybe that's an answer.
Exactly. Like in my job, like for example, I'm an officer, right? But I'm just out of college. Like, how can I tell? Like, you have people that have been there like 20 years, chiefs that have been there like 15 years in the Navy. They know their work. They know the ins and outs. They've seen it everything. And then I come out of college and I have the position that supposedly I'm in charge. But I rely on them and on their input. Yeah. Like, ultimately I make the decision, right? But like, most likely I will go with what they say unless I feel like it's incorrect. But like, that would be like really, really extreme cases.
Yeah. Yeah. And so here's the one thing it can't be, and I'm very interested to see Freeman's presser. I usually never watch these because it's all BS coach speak, but I actually want to see if the media is going to ask some tough questions. One thing I want to make clear is this isn't a week where Freeman's allowed to say, we just need to execute what we're trying to do better. That cannot be an acceptable answer to any of this. There are way bigger, deeper problems than just simple, we have to execute better. Nobody can let him get off with that. There needs to be more in-depth questions and discussions. It cannot be that easy where he gets to just say that, okay? Like, we need some real change and real answers and tough questions.
You know what you do? You know what you do in the weeks when you don't have no time and then you have to change everything? You go back to the basics. You go back to tackling basics. You go back to passing basics, catching the ball basics.
Yeah.
And then, but honestly, that's what's killing us.
Yeah.
If Tyreek catches the ball, we're turning the game. We're winning 17-10.
That's on my list of things to do as well. Is they need to get back to basics, because there's a lot of basic things that are not being done right now. And I know they don't have a bye and they don't want to be physical in practice. These guys can't tackle. Okay, you need to practice that or do something different. I don't know, man. So we're in a tough spot, and I'm hoping that Notre Dame can play a good game this week. There's no reason they can't. They're coming back home. USC's defense is, you could get at them. It's just there is not a lot of confidence in Notre Dame. I'll give you the final word on the way out, man. Thanks for calling again. What else you got on the way out?
I mean, I also hope to win. I don't see it happening. When we beat Clemson last year, it was because of special teams and then the defense.
Special teams is regressing too, so you're not going to have that. They're getting worse too. So there's that to add on the list.
We don't have that. We made it so that Harmon was going to be the reason for us winning games. Yeah. Whereas last year, it was outside of the quarterback hands to win. So I'm just going to watch it because we're going to take, so we're going to watch it either way. But I hope we'll win, and I don't want Freeman to be 0-2 against USC, because then you start building up your death nail.
Yep,
I know it took Harbaugh like 6 years.
No, you're right.
It took Harbaugh 6 years to beat OSU.
Yep, you're right.
But I don't see myself waiting 6 years for him. Like, he's just Harbaugh had a body of work. He doesn't have that.
You're on it. You're absolutely right. And that is another big bullet point of my theme this week is, underneath all this BS, Freeman can't start out 0-2 against USC. Hey, man, thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. Thanks for touching in, okay, buddy? Stay safe out there.
All right, Steve. All right.
Have a good one. Man, I like him. I'm glad that guy found the show. A couple more donators, 336 and then 574. I'm going to make sure I get you. 336, what's going on?
Hey, okay, so this one, I have probably like a 2023 issue and then a beyond issue.
Okay.
The 2023 issue, I find it weird, the ACC scheduling. And I'm not going to talk about the 8 games in a row. I'm going to talk about the fact that we have 6 ACC teams on schedule this year. Our 2 home games were Pitt and Wake Forest, and our 4 road games were Duke, Louisville, NC State, and Clemson. Which means it feels like they kind of gave us the toughest teams at their place.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know enough about. I'm going to be honest about what I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about the technical realities of how Notre Dame gets slotted, those ACC teams and the schedule and the way it's built out? And is there like a preference to do it differently for the ACC teams than Notre Dame playing the ACC teams? Like, is there a strategy there? I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but it just happened, man. Duke Louisville was always going to be tough. It ended up being a lot tougher, man. It ended up being a lot tougher. I mean, man.
Here's my light conspiracy theory about this.
Oh, yeah. Give me that. What do you got on that? I love a good conspiracy.
I think the ACC was tired of the fact that Notre Dame was coming into the season was like 28 games in a row beating the ACC teams in the regular season. We got to 30, I think, against Duke, or 31 against Duke. And I think they were tired of that. And they're like, let's just give them the hardest teams. When we fix the schedule up, when we select the schedule, let's give them all the hard games on the road, and also stuffing 2 road games in between Ohio State and USC, which, Ohio State, after they played us, had a bye.
Yeah.
Florida State, after they played Clemson, had a bye. Like, that's how most schedules are built. Is you build a few games, 4 or 5 games, and then you get to a spot where it's like, okay, they played X opponent that's supposed to be like one of the top opponents on the schedule. They get a bye this week. So it bye is not existent until week 9.
If you notice, Ohio State's bye was after Notre Dame. I believe Louisville's. There are ways to do this schedule, but at the same time, man, it's not an excuse for what we've seen. It is an added frustration, and it is a accurate, factual one to be frustrated about. But the reality is your schedule is your schedule, and you have to be able to get up enough to be able to play in these moments and not just complain about the schedule makers. And they're just doing a bad job, man. That things are falling apart at the seams. I don't know what you could practically change enough in these few practice days to USC. I'm racking my brain. What can they do? What can they change?
I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't think there's anything you can change in season. I mean, and the thing is people have this conception that Jared Parker is like an inexperienced offense coordinator, that this is like people think this is like his 7th game coordinating an offense. He was the offense coordinator for West Virginia for 2 seasons. And then he got demoted because they brought in Graham Harrell, and they were like, we don't like you enough to keep you here. We're going to move you back down to, I think they moved him down to tight end coach. And that's when he took the job. He left West Virginia and took the job at Notre Dame. But that was all because, I mean, he was the offense coordinator for 2 seasons at West Virginia. They just weren't successful.
Yeah.
And Notre brought him in thinking, okay, we can make him successful somehow. So that was part of my issue when they hired Parker, was like, if he doesn't work at West Virginia, if he can't excel at West Virginia, what makes you think he's going to excel here?
Do you feel like that was an emergency, put out the fire, break glass kind of hire by Freeman because he was so embarrassed and frustrated that the Ludwig thing blew up nationally? I feel like Freeman felt the heat to put out the fire as quick as he could and eliminate that big PR problem. And he went down to 2 doors and went to Parker. And that could end up being a huge mistake. And he's going to have to evaluate where that is at after the year, because he could sink his entire head coaching tenure by having too many buddies around that aren't good at their job.
Well, I think it was a panic hire a little bit, but I also think Freeman realized something very simple that the rest of the fan base probably didn't realize. And that was, if they weren't gonna fork over the money to hire Ludwig, they weren't gonna fork over the money to hire anybody.
Yeah, well, the only thing is maybe if they like Freeman enough, Freeman could go, hey, behind the scenes, he could go, hey, see, told you, I tried to hire the guy with 40 years of experience. He wouldn't let me, and this is what we get. Now will you let me do it? I don't know, man, but there are issues. All of these things are layered in. All of these issues are interwoven and they're all bad, and one is connected to the next. And if you pull one strand, it connects to 4 other problems. That's the issue. There aren't isolated things with easy fixes here. All of these nightmares are connected to other nightmares, and it's giving me nightmares.
I want to do the one thing I want to do still is the long term, past 2023, beyond 2023 reaction, and that is very simply, I don't agree. I disagree with something you said earlier. I think it is time for Notre Dame fans to admit that the expectations we have are too high. Expecting Notre Dame to challenge for a championship, that's over. That's not a thing anymore.
Okay, now wait. If you want the fans to act that way, I need Notre Dame to act that way. That's my argument. My issue is Notre Dame gets up there and talks about championship goals. Championship is the standard, but nothing they do is what people that win those do. That's my issue. I don't give a shit if the fans believe what or not. I have a problem with the university saying that winning championships is an issue, but they don't operate in a way that puts them in a position to do that. That's what I have a problem with. The university saying that's what it's about, but they don't operate that way. They don't put themselves in position to be that, but then they charge championship prices and talk about it. I want them to be honest, and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. But, the fact is the administration can say what they want. We all need to know exactly what they stand for. And what they stand for is not championships. What they stand for is
money.
We want
They stand for money. They stand for money. That's it. They stand for money. And that's all they care about. Yeah. Money, 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 money. Okay, that's it. And it really sickens me. But it's about money over there now. And whatever.
Any talk about championships or whatever is, in my opinion, pandering to the audience that wants to still have the ability to cling to that glory of the 1980s and 90s is the most recent, early 90s.
Yeah. So I don't know, dude, but what do you do this week? How in the hell do you get this right on the tracks this week for USC? What is in your mind? What can I even try and do?
I mean, I'm trying to think of what way they can go about softening the fact that Notre Dame's going to lose. That's about the only thing you can do. I mean, I don't think there's a strategy that they can pull out that's going to have them winning this game.
That's a dark way to. That's a rough way to start a Monday morning at USC week, dude. That's a dark way to start off the week, man. That's unfortunate. That's a dark place. Anything else on the way out, man? I'll give you the final word.
No, I think that covered the two things I really want to talk about.
Yeah, man, it's just really a rough road, bro. It's just a rough road, man. I'm struggling. Thank you very much for the call and the donation. Call again, my friend. John has a headache and he is mentally drained. Dude, I'm dragging big time, Kent. I'm dragging big time. The other thing I always tell people is those night games, I don't go to bed till 3:30 in the morning because of all the writing that I have to do for a deadline Sunday morning. I got to do a 2-hour call-in show at least, then do my notes, then do a recording to post Sunday morning, and then write an article or two to post at 6 a.m. Sunday. And it's caught up with me doing it 3 weeks in a row, and it'll be 4 after USC. I admit I am dragging ass. I am. And my brain is fried, and everybody that I know is miserable. Like everybody I know, my friends and family, everybody, they are all miserable. Everyone is miserable. It's just a rough dynamic, but I admit I am dragging ass, and my brain is fried on overload. 574, thank you for the donation. Welcome in.
Hey, John, how's it going? I'm live from campus right
Oh, I would love a report of what that vibe's like. What's the feeling? I imagine it doesn't feel like it should the beginning of USC week. Explain to me, what's it like?
Right now it's sunny, but everyone's depressed right now about Notre Dame. That was just a terrible night. It was another one of those nights that don't want to go back to, and I don't want to remember, and I don't really want to talk about, but I have to for you guys, so I will.
Yeah, man, it was just this is just a nightmare sequence of events here. So I mean, where are you at on this now that you had a couple days? Where are you at on all these items?
This is 2014 revisited. I mean, this is exactly what I talked to you about after the Ohio State game. I was like worried that this situation would happen. Notre Dame would be sleepwalking into Duke. They don't put up enough points in the first half. I mean, stop giving the ball to estimate and running into a brick wall. That's like high school stuff. I mean, the high school coaches in Texas would be offended because they would even run it right into the brick wall.
Yeah, there's no good plan to start with. And when the not good first plan doesn't work, there's definitely no second plan to pivot to. Notre Dame's in a real rough offensive spot, especially. And I just can't, man, I don't know what you do in a short week. Like, you don't have a lot of time to be able to try and do a bunch of different stuff. Like, there needs to be a come to Jesus meeting, because I don't have the answers on this one. Nothing's good enough. Nothing's good enough.
I mean, I would start with fixing the wide receivers. The number one issue is if you can't catch the ball and you can't move the ball upfield and you have to give it to Estime every time and they're going to pick up the run, what else are you going to do? I mean, what are you really going to do to produce offense? Because even if USC has a bad defense and you're going to run through the gap, what are you going to do when you play against a team with a good defense in a playoff game? You weren't going to win it anyway.
Yeah. It's oh man, it's just there's no easy way out of this, and I'm having a hard enough time trying to figure out exactly how we got into all of it to this extent. And do you feel like Notre Dame hasn't recovered since Ohio State? Is that a part of this for you in your mind or your heart, that it was so gut-wrenching that they just haven't been able to overcome that and it's weighing them down? Or do you not think that's part of it now that we're a couple weeks removed?
I think it's part of that, but it's also got to come down to coaching. I mean, you got to be able to get your guys riled up for a football game. You're playing a prime-time football game in front of a packed stadium. You should be fired up to play a football game. I don't care who you lose to. You got to be able to fire up because you might be able to make the playoffs if you beat USC. We could have a party if we lost to Ohio State, but we blow out USC. I'm going to still rush the field if that happens.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. And again, like, there's no excuse. Like, there are a lot of extemporaneous factors that are adding layers to this. None of it is an excuse. Like, let me ask you this. Why it was Notre Dame not ready for the moment then? Why did they not match Louisville's intensity and will to want to win the game and be physical and fast? Notre Dame did not match that. And I have a real problem with that they didn't even come close to matching the opponent's vibe. I can't live with that.
Well, I think what happened was they couldn't score any points in the first half. Estime was running into a brick wall, but I guarantee you he didn't talk to Freeman about he's got to be like to Freeman. Freeman, you're running me into a brick wall. You got to change up the offense. But he probably didn't do any of that. And then once the second half came, the defense just deflated because they knew the offense couldn't score. And once they gave up those 2 touchdowns, Hartman was just chucking balls, and the game was pretty much over at that point.
Yeah, it's just so disappointing. And now you got to try and put all the pieces back together with USC coming here. Do you think there's a chance we can move the ball on them? Come on, man. Their defense is really bad. Maybe Notre Dame could come up with a couple wrinkles here and be able to put some points up. Come on. Any hope on that?
I mean, there is hope because let's be honest. I mean, this Saturday night, this town is going to still shut down. It's USC. I mean, of course, The stadium is still going to get the fans rocking with that rap music they play now. I'm not a big fan of it, but they'll probably get the crowd going.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still think they'll score. I still think they'll score a bunch of points early in the game. But yeah, the stadium's going to be loud. I just know it. I mean, they paid $300. Tell me you're not going to be loud if you spent $300 on a football game.
No, it might be the other way where you'll sit there with your head in your hand all depressed because you spent $300 and now you're trapped there. You might be extra quiet sitting there going, why am I doing this to myself? It could go the other way on us.
That is true there. Then in that case, you better buy tons of beer for that tailgate party. But I guarantee you we're not letting you in if you're drunk.
Oh, man, you might need to do it where you'll only let in drunk people. Maybe that's what we need to change the vibe in there. Only drunk people allowed. So I don't know, but this
is
a
drunk mind's alert tone.
That's a very good phrase. This is dangerous because Notre Dame needs to try and get right, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. And nobody wants to be sitting in that bye on a losing streak. What we just did against Louisville, and then Freeman being 0-2 against USC. Can you imagine what that's going to be like? The bye week is going to be horrible.
Oh, I know. Just think about Ryan Day right now. I mean, Ryan Day is having a great year, but if he doesn't beat Michigan, they're going to be calling him to move to the Titans. Just saying.
Yeah. It's these are rough times. Hey, thanks for calling on a Monday. Anything else? Let me know. Keep in touch this week because I would genuinely be interested to hear the vibes. And you're on campus, you're working there. Call in later in the week. I'd like to know how things are developing, if there's any more energy at the end of the week or not.
For sure. You should come out and see me sometime. Maybe when Notre Dame plays Duke. I mean, Notre Dame's playing Duke in Virginia around Christmas time, so the students won't be here, so the arena will be packed.
Oh, yeah. No, that is a kind of a good idea and a way to get there in the winter. Yeah, good idea. I'll be in touch on that.
Buy Virginia tickets now. It's going to sell out. I know that right now.
Yeah. No, man, you got all the hookups and all the info around the grounds there, too. Anything on the way out? Thanks for touching base.
What I'm going to say is we better beat USC because I can't stand Caleb Williams. But if we lose, man, oh man, I would be worried about Pittsburgh too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just rough. Hey, try and keep your head up and have a smile there. And I know you do the best you can around there. Keep it up, okay?
I will try to keep smiling.
Have a good one. Thank you. What in the hell is happening? How in the hell did I get these porn bots back? I think I got rid of all those, and now I'm getting the porn bots back. Did I just get to a certain level now that they're coming here with the adult dating chat? Give me a freaking break, bro. God. Nothing's going our way. Unless the adult dating was free. I don't want to pay. Then, I mean, come on. We need to throw us a bone here with the adult dating stuff, man. Is it free? Sean Ramsey, he's back, the famous troll. Notre Dame isn't a championship team. Yeah, no shit, Sean. You don't have to be Gordon Ramsay to figure that out. Thanks for breaking that news. None of us figured that out. None of us could have figured that out. Here's the porn chat again. What is going on in this? I kept it together most of the day. What is this? Unbelievable. All right, that's it. Tom, the rest of you, I'm out. I need a break. I'm out. We went 2 hours. Let's go watch Freeman make up things and the media throw him softballs and whatever. This needs to be it. I'm going to record some stuff. I'm going to write an article, read all about it later. I think I got all the people that donated today. Yeah, the Always Porn Show. Everybody, Tom, I'm sorry, man. I do need a vacation, but that ain't happening until after the season. There's something to be done every single day in the season. But my mind is about to explode. I love you guys. We're trying to talk our way through it. Tough time, but I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you didn't just check out. It means a lot to me that you guys aren't just going, hey, This isn't going well. See you next year. Thank you for coming back so we could talk our way through this, okay? Yeah, ND sucks and injured players. Dude, you guys are dumb, bro. That accident on Riley, the guy like fell down on his ankle and you're saying he hurt him. You guys are so dumb. Also, why is a Duke person talking shit to us? You're an idiot. The team that just beat you looks like shit and you're running your mouth? That makes us both look bad, fool. It makes us all look bad. How are you making fun of us? We beat you and then we shit the bed. Now we all look worse. You don't look better. Oh my God, you're dumb. All right, I'm out. I need a break from this. This ain't right. I need a break from this. Go watch whatever I'm going to put out later tonight and tomorrow. These are tough times, you guys. I love you. So we'll get through it together, but it's brutal out here. Screw this.